a uniquely stunning 24-hour display, entirely designed and developed in the Breitling chronometry workshops with all the expertise of the chronograph and technical watch specialists. It is chronometer certified by the COS. That's the Swiss Official Chronometer Testing Institute. That's the highest. And the propellers stopped in front of me, so that was backwards, so we're going to turn the aircraft. It was overjoyed and Bob Hoover at the control. You can see how commandeering a German FW-190, the same type of aircraft that shot him down. Blasting out of the enemy revertments, he lifted off and flew at treetop level before setting the aircraft down in a field in Holland.
Now, as Randy and Wilbur come to show left, they're going to pull about 3.3 Gs. They are right at barber pole, or maximum speed on that Sabreliner, about 340 knots. Pull on the Gs. Randy will continue to pull back, go straight up into the Nevada sky. Wilbur's managing his power, bringing off the altitude, reading off the airspeed to make sure they've got the safety gates met. That's what allows you to fly, even a non-aerobatic airplane, through these maneuvers, is knowing exactly what amount of energy or airspeed or altitude is required. Now, they unload the airplane to half a G, roll it over using aileron and rudder, diving it back down in on this 1/2 Cuban 8.
And look at the beautiful trail of air show smoke coming from the back of that aircraft, hanging absolutely perfect in the skies here. You know, after the war, Bob Hoover was assigned, of course, to flight test duty at Wright Field, and when Chuck Yeager was asked who he wanted on his flight crew in the new supersonic Bell X-1 program, he said, Bob Hoover. Becoming Yeager's backup pilot, he flew chase in a Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star during that historic Mach 1 flight. Now, we flash forward to the 50th anniversary of that famed flight, and there was Hoover again flying chase for Yeager in an F-16 Fighting Falcon over Edwards Air Force Base in California.
Now, as they've got the Sabreliner turning back in, they're going to do that classic barnstormer loop, the barrel roll, or the victory roll, as a lot of the fighter pilots may have flown as they came back to their bases in Europe after successfully scoring an air-to-air kill. This maneuver will be a climbing, rolling maneuver, taking the airplane through 360 degrees of roll and 360 degrees of pitch.
Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now.
All right, here they come, friends, coming in from the right. He's moving, too.
Again, he's at the barber pole. He is max speed at the beginning of almost all these maneuvers.
Realize the stork delivered.
The sun shining, beautiful, graceful roll.
On the family tree.
That's got to look cool, because up above the pilots in that Sabreliner, there's windows up above them. And so they're able to see the runway by looking up through the roof of the airplane. I bet they can probably see a smile on that Tennessee gentleman's face right now as well.
Of course, in 1950, Bob Hoover would begin a 36-year association with North American Aviation and Rockwell International. He performed experimental test flight work on the Navy FJ-2 jet fighter, the F-86D, and the F-100 when he demonstrated the safe handling and flying qualities to fighter pilots all around the world. But as master of aerial flight didn't stop there. In 1978, he set 3 climb-to-altitude records at Hanover Air Show in West Germany. And in 1985, Bob Hoover set a coast-to-coast record flying a P-51 Mustang from Daytona Beach, Florida to Los Angeles, California in, get this, 5 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, this next maneuver, Randy's going to do an 8-point roll, but he can only count to 5, so Wilbur's going to be there to get the last few figured out. Fingers pulled out. There's 1, 2, 3. Inverted at 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nicely done, gentlemen. You ladies and gentlemen, are you liking what we're showing you?
And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. I bet you made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now.
Well, as we got the aircraft repositioned, let me tell you a little more about Mr. Hoover. The man who originally bought this Sabreliner and brought this routine to life was born in Nashville, Tennessee on January 24th of 1922. At the age of 15 and sacking groceries at the local grocery store for 12.5 cents an hour, he paid for his flying lessons and learned to fly at Nashville's Berry Field. He then began to try his hand at loops and rolls and taught himself aerobatics. As World War II broke out, he enlisted in the Tennessee National Guard and later received orders to Army Pilot Training School.
Well, break out those cameras from Fries.com as this parade pass gives you a great view to capture not only the Sabreliner, but Bob and Old Yeller all in one shot right there. You know, this Sabreliner, though, a lot of people who know their airplanes may recognize that tail, the landing gear, the wings kind of look familiar. And they actually share a commonality with the F-86 Sabre jet. Of course, Bob made famous as well. And served the Air Force and the F-4J Navy in combat in Korea. That's where the name Sabreliner actually came from. Those are the same components. The company said, you know what, it's just close enough. We're going to share the Sabre aspect with it, give it the liner, and you have a wonderful top-of-the-line technology corporate jet back in the day. And that is still what this Sabreliner is used for. Despite the company having some Gulfstreams, this is kind of the favorite of the owners. They'd much rather get in this airplane with a little bit of style, a little pizzazz, a little bit of roar out of those engines.
Great ramp appeal, too. That is one beautiful aircraft that's making its way in from the left. And look at the great shot on the Jumbotron as well as that Sabreliner starts to come in.
You know, the Sabreliners were produced from the late 50s and continued to be produced up into the 70s. The Navy was still flying them when I was down at Navy Pensacola at VT-86 in 07. Down low, Fries.com bringing you the Sabreliner and the Bob Hoover tribute. Oh, that sends shivers down my spine, tucking it into the Hoover Valley.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
That's a whole nother story I'd love to have the gentleman explain. He spent a little more time flying down there than that, though.
Well, actually, we'll explain that a little later on this afternoon when Jim Pites goes into the air, because I'm going to give you a hint. He's going to do the same thing. What a tribute, and what a great aviator as well. Robert A. Bob Hoover. And you know, for those of you, and I can't believe nobody knows who Bob Hoover is, one of the things he's also renowned for, of course, is energy
I knew you'd do it
management
well.
when he was flying, shutting down Boeing engines, and his Rockwell Shrike Commander performing a loop, an 8-point roll, a 180-degree turn to a landing, then taxiing to show center, sometimes even right to his parking spot, without starting the engines up again.
I remember seeing that routine, Pasco, Washington. I was a high school kid in the late 80s, sitting there in just absolute amazement. Now to be able to sit and share a debrief room with him, and he's been in the Patriots debrief and given us points that even to this day are valid to our air show routine. You talk about energy management. They're bringing that Sabreliner in from behind us right there. They're going to pull up into the vertical and have enough energy to give us not one, but about 1.5, maybe 1 3/4 rolls. Unload it. Roll it around, Randy. There's a half. There's one. Wilbur's reading airspeed. And about 1 1/3. Pull that nose below the horizon. You don't want to get it too slow up top.
Well, I was going to say density altitude is playing in here a little bit too. We're at a high airport on a hot day, and the airplane thinks it's way up there.
Oh, let me tell you, it's some hot flying going on as well. Back in town. Well, as they circle back down, I want to tell you, though, there's a great opportunity. There's a Bob Hoover project coming up. The release date for what's called Flying the Feathered Edge. The Bob Hoover project is expected to be completed here anytime. And we look forward to encouraging you to go online, find out where you can view that documentary, learn more about this great man and this living legend of U.S. aviation history. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to please get on your feet and let's have a big round of applause, not only for Fries.com and Randy and Wilbur flying the demo, but for Mr. Hoover, who graces us with his presence here again today. Thank you, sir. God bless you. We love you.
And old Luke
to see Old Yeller and Clay Lacey's Miss Van Nuys parked together there. What a great sight. Of course, for 20 years, that's the yellow aircraft, Old Yeller, the official pace and safety aircraft for the Reno National Championship Air Races Unlimited class. Bob Hoover made over 1,000 air show performances in the United States, in Canada, and in Mexico, and still holds that speed record from LA to Daytona Beach, Florida for 5 hours, 20 minutes, and that was established back on March 29th of 1985. And of course, Clay Lacey's Miss Van Nuys won the Unlimited in 1970. To see these two aircraft nose to nose like that, that is beautiful. What do you think, folks? Welcome to Nevada, where you will find unparalleled events such as the National Championship Air Races done in a uniquely Nevadan way. We don't just have a air show, we have air races. We don't just have a hot air balloon festival, we have the largest free ballooning event in the country. We don't just have great food, we have the best in the West nugget rib-off. And the great Italian festival, I'm reverting back to my old country, and even the largest, wildest mountain oyster fry. Nevada does things. It's
a gold sport class race. They will be using two distinct courses. The unlimited course as they come down the chute from our right for the very first left. He's followed by one of the prettiest airplanes I've ever seen. Instructors land there. Followed by a bigger airplane, a Lance Air 4, flown by Pete Saganino, and I take that back. He is also twin turbocharged. And then following up the rear is Philip Nibbler and his favorite airplane, David Gall. What's with all the orange? This looks like Dave Robinson made it. And in fact, down we go. Number 18, Tim Cone in Snoopy, is now in the hunt because Dave Robinson did not make it out onto the course. That's one good thing about having that alternate aircraft. We have one aircraft, the winner of the previous race, sitting on standby, and if anyone has a mechanical problem, that airplane takes over for him. So we'll know later what happened to Mr. David Robinson, but I'll tell you, number 18, Bob Hoover, excited as heck to get back into this race. What a break! You have to be ready to race, and somebody has a problem. You're there. That's right. So we'll be taking milk.
I'd like to thank everybody who made this vision.
Roy Meyer.
The first time I saw him fly when I was 15 years old here, I gave him his autograph.
It was here, babe.
Oh yeah, I was here, and I'm like, who is this guy? And what? And he's in this yellow suit, strong. He just did his act with the Strike Commander.
Yeah, a crowd of folks up there.
This guy's amazing. Sitting in line, 15 years old, getting this, his autograph.
Thank you.
Get to fly. And now here, 30 years later, getting him to fly on an airplane. Is that still spin the night inside the?
That's a shiny. That's
still inside the panel. What's that?
Whatever that is.
So 195 Cessna. It's beautiful, isn't it? Good, this is the heritage.
We need to do that in the Conquest, Eddie.
Well, it was the table. Should have ordered another table.
Maybe. We need to do it in the Conquest. I don't need to follow up with Oh, wow. Right up to where we were staying.
Hey guys, I have a guest for you.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys.
Well,
Curly. Curly.
I don't know. Doing it your style would have been better, but we just can't live up to that.
You did a beautiful job.
Oh, thanks. Did you see the airplane better with smoke now?
Oh, heavens, yeah. I saw the difference in the world.
Yeah, big difference.
Well, you can see the turnaround, where to look.
Yeah.
before you could, because
Right.
we cut him out so far. You can't have that.
Yeah.
This brings it all home.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it looked good.
We're real happy with the smoke system. It's putting out a lot of smoke.
Sure is. The flying aspect is what I was watching. I like that takeoff. Really hanging it on the deck there. That really looked
Well,
good.
there you go. That answers your question.
Did you see us disappear off the end of the runway?
Yeah. That was awesome. Kidding me.
Smart, Alex. Act like another smart.
Well, what better tribute?
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
I just hope the FAA thinks it's great.
We'll deal with
You know
that.
what I used to do? When I did a lot with the Mustang and the automatic. I'd take off and do a roll and then go down out of the roll as if I screwed up, you know, and go down and yell. And then I'd stay low because I can't see it. So you have to be up in the tower almost to see what I beat below the eye vision from here. And there was no population except the Air Force housing back here. And I go all the way out to the highway. Sometimes they run the fire trucks. I'd come through here. Everybody's still looking out here.
Were the kids at base housing waving at you? They knew.
They probably weren't watching.
We can't do a dirty roll on takeoff here because we're not 1,500 feet away from the crowd.
Is that right?
In the jet.
And I tell you, I was saying, you think, God, look at that watch.
It's not moving.
It stopped.
But they had a requirement back then that you had to sit there and see if the fire trucks could get to you in time. And well, the B-58, same thing. They watched that very closely, but they had to do the same kind of testing. And that was a lot for that big airplane, that bomber,
Yeah.
to blow the tires and sit there and wait. You see the flames coming out, you know, that really gets your attention.
So, Bob, do you have any spare hats in your RV that we can wear tomorrow during the demo?
You know what the funny thing is? He's serious.
The ramp's gonna go sterile here pretty soon, so
Okay.
yeah, he's either gonna stay here and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or we gotta get him back one way.
Okay.
Well, let's head back to the thank you.
You bet.
Will we see you again tomorrow?
Oh, sure, I'll be here tomorrow, big time.
Okay.
That's a big day.
Excellent. Bob, it was great to see you. Thanks for coming over and visiting with us. And thanks for the coffee.
Our honor.
Plenty.
All right. Good work.
Bye, baby.
Good work.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.